Madam Fatma Samoura, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us.
Thank you, Juliet. It's a pleasure.
3 years on, you are the most influential woman in sports. How has the journey been for you so far in this current position?
The journey has been very exciting and bumpy at times, but coming at the helm of the FIFA administration during the moment of crisis was also something that helped me bring about changes. Today, we are an administration of 800 people coming from 52 different countries with revenue amounting to $6.4 billion for the period 2015-2018. And today we can say that FIFA has a better image, and more importantly, football has been brought back into the center of everything that FIFA does. And that was the most important thing after what we went through in 2015.
You spoke about how bumpy it has been. Give us some insight.
It took us about 6 months to finalize the first strategy, the vision for the future. That was a document very inspiring. It took us also time to reorganize all the committees. We went from 26 different committees to 9 committees. And before the new leadership of FIFA, there were hardly women in the majority of these committees. Today we have 34 women occupying a very big position within these committees. And I'm proud to be leading an administration where we have 43% of women at all levels of the administration.
How have you managed your transition into full-time sports administration?
I was a football lover. I've been married with a former football player for more than 30 years. So football was already part of my life. But when appointed FIFA Secretary General, the transformation was very gradual, because one thing that really appealed to me was the fact that the new president wanted also to embrace more diversity. And that was exactly what I was doing day in and day out when I was serving as the UN officials for 21 years. We have also more people coming from outside with a different vision from the UN like me, but also from the private sector, who are also bringing new ideas into the new FIFA administration. And finally, we developed recently and launched it in October, the first ever women football division. It means that my appointment is not only an isolated case, it's something that is being trickled down to the level of the 211 member association. And today, again, I'm really thrilled to see that 16 member associations have decided also to appoint Secretary General to be leading the administration.
Of the many challenges you encounter in the day-to-day handling of your job, which one is at the heart of your agenda and that of FIFA?
Well, we have many agendas. Last year was the World Cup. That was a great success. And as you could see, we were not disappointed by the African team. Though they did not made it after the phase group, they really demonstrated a high level of tactical level and also of technicality. We have many battles, not only one. The most important one is to become a more transparent, meaning that making sure that all the reform agenda is fully implemented, meaning that we want to promote gender, we want to promote women football, we want to promote development at all levels, from the grassroots to the elite level. We want 60 million women to be playing football by 2016, so doubling literally the number of players. We want to have an administration that is solid, that is closer to the member association, and this translated into the opening of 10 regional development offices across the world, of which 3 are in Africa. It means also more outreaching in terms of communication. Having a new digital unit is also something that we are exploring now within FIFA. Another battle is increasing the number of competition. at the grassroots level, but also for women competition.
The representation of African women in sports is still far below their appreciable levels. What can be done to change this?
We have made progress in women football in Africa. First, because I cannot speak on behalf of the president of CAF, but I know that he's taking the development of women football very seriously. CAF was certainly the first organization and the first confederation to organize women's football symposium immediately after the new president and the new leadership was elected. And I can say also that from what I've seen and heard during the last Women AFCON in Cameroon and in Ghana last year, it was something that really showed that the level is growing. Unfortunately, Ghana is not qualified for the Women World Cup, which is a pity. But I've seen the under 17 Ghanaian team and also the under 20 playing in Brittany in France, and I was even so thrilled by their performance that once they beat Korea, I think I accompanied them in the restroom, and we and the girl were doing the dance, and that was a very fantastic and extraordinary moment.
Since you joined FIFA, a lot has been done to take women's football to the next level. What has excited you the most?
I'm very much looking forward to having for the first time the Women Convention event. It's an event that will see the participation of 400 people, meaning that each of the 211 member associations will be also bringing on board the person in charge of women football, where we will be discussing the 5 pillars of the women football strategy that was in October. It's an opportunity also to engage with political leaders, but also with the civil society and with the people who are very active in promoting human rights. We want to make it an inclusive event whereby women football will be seen through the lenses of social, but also on football and technicality. After that event, we will be signing a declaration with all the head of states that will be present and all the ministers of sport that will be present in that gathering to make it a roadmap that will be really followed up very closely by FIFA. There is also something that is very dear to me. It's to make sure that the last country that is today impeding women from participating to men's game decided to go ahead and abolish that disposition, and that the Iranian women be also allowed to watch both men's and women's game.
Talking about the Women's Convention, I think it's just in order for us to talk about the Women's World Cup, which is taking place in France. A lot is expected from Africa's representatives. Are you hopeful that they will give good accounts of themselves?
Well, of course, I'm hopeful that everybody will do fine, but especially teams coming from my continent. And from what I've seen during the last AFCON, Women AFCON from CAF, I am very hopeful that they will be going beyond the quarterfinal and why not the semifinals, and maybe we can have one day one team from Africa that will be the winner of the World Cup. The Nigerians have been doing great in Cameroon and also lately in Ghana. And as I said, the Cameroonians are also very strong team. And why not South Africa?
Definitely, some gains have been made with the women's game in Africa. But are you hopeful that it will even get better after this tournament?
First, it's to show the rest of the world that women football is not a mere investment. And even for some African games, the tickets have already been sold out, which means that the investors also will be watching differently the women game after this World Cup. Because our main target is to have 1 billion broadcast viewers. So meaning 250 million more viewers than what we experienced in Canada, which was already a great achievement in terms of participation, but also in terms of viewers for the women game.
China seems to be in focus for women's football now. We've seen Assistant Oshuala going to China now with Barcelona, Tembe Hatlana also going to China as well. I think there's been some paradigm shift.
Definitely. So meaning that China believe in women football. If countries like China, who are traditionally not football nation, are investing in the women game, this is a strong signal. So we Africans should also be following the path, because it means that the future really is in women football, and the future you have to prepare it today.
A lot of people have praised the progress of women's football under your leadership, but do you reckon that there is a need to do more?
Doing more is fine, but these messages is not only addressed to FIFA. My message goes also to the leadership of Africa and the leadership of football in general. If you invest in women football, now that we are seeing tremendous progress being made, to train more women at the level of the football administration, to promote them at the highest level of the football hierarchy, that will be followed by more investment, not only from FIFA, but also from the sponsor. And if we get more money, we can invest more in infrastructure. We can invest more in competition. We can invest more in the training of the administrative staff who are also women. And finally, we can invest also in the grassroots, and this will be yielding definitely better results. This is a long-term investment, and I am quite confident that by the term, maybe we finish the mandate of Mr. Infantino, people can come and say, yes, you made it. And today, we don't talk about women football anymore. We just talk about football, because women football is at the same level as men's football.
What will make you the happiest woman in the world when your mandate is over and you look back at what you were able to accomplish?
We don't take only women as spectators. We don't only consider them as people who are working backstage and who are only working on the administrative level, and we take it seriously. We reach our target of having a big number of women being playing football, and we also we are able to sit around the table with the world leaders and tell them, believe in what the leadership of FIFA has done, of the seed that they have planted, because if you invest in women football, you will be equally rewarded by the result, but also by the fact that it has a very, very strong social power. Football, as we all know, is a unique unifier. It can help bridge differences between nations, but it can also promote equality between men and women at each level in all countries.
Madam Fatma Samoura, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Juliet.